All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks the Podcast, episode 344. Today on the show, we learned about a new CIA tool that was used to save the downed pilot in Iran. We're going to tell you all about it. Then there was a Luigi Mangione-style arsonist who burned his job down. We're going to show you the video. Then Nice Lawns is racist and Pilates is white supremacy in Cringe of the Week. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, these bitches be fighting again. All this and more, it's Fleccas Talks the Podcast, episode 344, ranked the best news podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
Fleccas Talks the Podcast featuring Richard Bradford.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, it's the year of our Lord 2026. We shouldn't be snacking like it's still 1995. If you're like me, you probably grew up eating gas station jerky, which is just tough processed meat leather with corn syrup. But Farmer Bill's Provisions is a new company that uses old methods. They use a long-forgotten method of curing and air drying that maximizes the flavor. Air-dried beef preserves a perfect marbling of fat. It's like a ribeye in a bag. There's 4 awesome flavors. There's original, there's spicy chili, there's smokehouse, and garlic and herb. And if you're just starting out, maybe grab the 8-ounce original slices bag and throw in some smokehouse meat sticks as well. Here's another pro tip. Throw their Sleepy Cow tallow balm in your cart as well. Farmer Bill's wife makes that, and it's infused with magnesium and chamomile, so you're gonna sleep like a baby. My mom absolutely loves that product. So stock up today at farmerbillsprovisions.com or hit the link in the show notes. Use code FLECCAS20 for 20% off of your first order or subscription. And also, as always, if you guys show me a receipt from Farmer Bill, I will follow you back on the social media of your choice. Thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right, thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring.
Thank you, Farmer Bill.
Farmer Bill has been sponsoring since the show began.
Really?
Yeah, for years now. And he's very much an America First show watcher, and he has a very special offer for just show watchers. You can get a free Farmer Bill shirt or Farmer Bill polo with any purchase.
Oh.
That's arbitrage.
Farmer Bill, generosity.
You have to do it. So if you guys made a purchase, just send a screenshot to contact@farmerbillsprovisions.com with your order number or the picture of your order and the shirt you want.
And the size, I assume.
And the size. Very generous. Thank you to Farmer Bill, and thank you to you guys. Enjoy your Farmer Bill shirts. That's like you have to buy something to get the shirt. It's arbitrage.
Very nice.
All right.
Not sure you know what arbitrage really means, but very nice.
It's the gist of arbitrage.
Yes, it's in the spirit of arbitrage.
It's in the spirit of arbitrage. Okay. Hope everyone had a nice week. It's Friday again.
Yeah.
When I was making the thumbnail with you a couple days ago for Tuesday's episode, it was about the Indians in Texas, and I thought this was pretty interesting. I searched Texas Indians to add some background photo for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And it's all Native Americans.
Yeah, they're hiding it from us.
You can't find one. You can't find one picture of Indian people from India in Texas. It's all Native Americans, this tribe, that, the Comanche.
I got a hunch that there's more dot Indians than Comanche Indians in Texas these days, guys. So Google, get updated. But who's the CEO of Google?
Patel.
There's some Indians up the ranks, so we'll see. But very funny. Maybe if you specify Frisco, it could get a little better.
Yeah, maybe we'll try it. But another example of Google lying and hiding the truth. Same thing when you search robber, stock image of a robber, and it's a white guy in the
walking
cat
off with a TV
in the cat burglar outfit,
yeah.
a corny white guy. It's never really what it is.
Yep.
All right, let's get to our first story of the day. DeCarlos Brown, Iryna Zarutska's killer, is not competent to stand trial.
Yeah, DeCarlos Brown Jr. has been found incapable to proceed on the state murder charge brought against him in the killing of Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska. And that headline sounds worse than it is right now. Because, do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, there's federal charges,
Yeah,
right?
There's parallel charges, right? Because it was such a boiling point case or whatever that he's charged with federal murder and he's also charged with state. This was the state which is still bad, right? The state is, he's incompetent, and they're asking for like 180 days to retest him. But he's also got federal charges, and I think he's being held in Chicago right now on those federal charges because it became such a important case, right? So it's like a bad development, but doesn't necessarily mean he's walking away from it right now. But it's something that we want to get rid of anyway. The guy who's perpetually let out, and then on his most heinous and vicious and visible crime, then he's insane. He was normal when he was stealing from the cop car. Yeah. He was normal when he kicked that homeless man in the face. But now that it's on HD camera, all of a sudden I'm cuckoo.
Yeah. And we've made the point, like, shouldn't a killer who isn't mentally sound enough to stand trial get a harsher punishment because you're violent and there's no reasoning with this guy?
Yeah, he should be zapped. He should be zapped.
Yeah, that's very true.
A kind way of putting it, I guess.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And then, we have a tweet here that sums it up. These are all of the other times he was arrested where he was deemed capable to stand trial. And then this one, which gets national attention, incapable to stand trial.
Yeah, and so we obviously want to end that. North Carolina, to be fair, they did pass Iryna's law almost immediately after for the repeat offenders. And we've shown on the show that they are keeping more people in and not giving easy Jimmy in and out sentences. So there's some good and some bad, but I'm really uncomfortable. We've talked about it on the show. IQ tests. Can't have them for a job. Can't have them to get into college. Can't have them during high school. You can't have them to work for the federal government. There's lawsuits for all of these because of disparate impact. Because who is lower IQ? Some kind of protected classes, if you will. But the one time when it's time to get you out of trouble, IQ test or schizophrenia, yeah, let's get it going, right?
Pull all the stops. Mm-hmm. And I think the progressives are going to be happy about this, considering that Iryna Zarutska's murals are being vandalized all over the country.
Or outright, like, threatened to be taken down from mayors that we just covered, right?
Which is so weird because, like, an innocent woman was killed for no reason, and she can't be honored because the killer was black.
Yeah. And I think it's less about that and more about the right wing isn't allowed to, coalesce around a common goal. That's kind of the deeper rooted thing that progressives are against is like, well, I know that's kind of a right wing pet case. Fuck them, right?
And that's like the
no matter what the facts of that specific incident, which was obviously heinous, this girl was a refugee, like it was pure. Everyone's on that side, but because Republicans are kind of coalescing around it, it's like oppositional defiance again.
And that's the overarching theme we see in politics now, where like anything the Republicans like, the other side takes the opposite side, and now they're supporting like repeat offenders and like violent criminal illegals. And, like that's who their bedfellows are.
It's debate club. It's debate club, and I guess I'll take the other side of why this mural shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. So. And everyone's making excuses for why criminals aren't actually bad, especially Gavin Newsom's wife in this next clip. Here she is talking about how she interacted with juvenile offenders in San Quentin.
I had to be very raw when we interviewed the young men who were juvenile offenders in San Quentin. I told them about my own loss, where I lost my older sister a few days before my 7th birthday, and I blamed myself for her death. And I share that because that they ultimately were accused of committing these violent crimes and sentenced for life. And I think it shocked them that this, blonde lady who was, interviewing them had a similar story, was perhaps in the wrong place at the wrong time, but wasn't punished the way they were because clearly it was an accident, but theirs was probably an accident too.
So apparently when she was 7, she ran over her sister with a golf cart accidentally and her sister died. Like super sad story.
Yeah.
But to assume that all the juvenile offenders in San Quentin also just accidentally killed somebody.
I accidentally executed that 7-Eleven clerk after I got all the money. Right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And we have a tweet that kind of sums up the progressive ideology in an example like this.
Yeah, because every step along that story, she makes a stretch. To her detriment and to the benefit of those San Quentin juvenile offenders, right? And this is from Wayne Burkett, and he said, there are many things to dislike about progressivism, even just from a purely aesthetic point of view, and so we spend a lot of time on here ridiculing it on that basis. But it's important always to remember that the main problem with progressivism is that it's not true. It's actually just not true that accidentally running over your sister when you're 7 years old is the equivalent of murdering someone or committing some other violent crime. It's actually just not true that most people in prison are innocent. It's actually just not true that most of the people in prison committed their crime unintentionally. When you talk to progressives, what you find is that they hold views about the world that are just simply not true. Maybe the aesthetics would still be bad even if their claims were true, but their claims are not true.
That's the key.
Yeah, it's like every single step, you make a stretch and everybody gets the benefit of the doubt, the most horrible offenders there are, and they're just like me, Gavin Newsom's wife.
Who lives in like an $8 million house in Napa Valley or something.
These kids could have been me. They could be eating at the French Laundry with me if they weren't murderers already. And you know how hard it is? I guess she talked about juvenile offenders with life sentences. You got to be tried as an adult. It's got to be especially heinous, right?
It's no accidents.
Yes.
And
I think the defense attorney would have argued if it was an accident, right?
So, Your Honor.
Yeah. So some like oversized suit guy who was asleep at the wheel, like dusting powdered sugar off of him. It's like, I don't know, Your Honor. That's what she thinks. So like every step, there's benefit of the doubt, and then there's degradation of herself too, to make them seem like they're the same.
And she's making excuses for these people who, like, the people that she's making the excuses for, they can't even think of those excuses for themselves.
Yeah, they can't.
They're just like, yeah, I did it. I ran him over. I shot him with the gun. He was talking shit.
The closest they can do is blame it on someone who was with them. That's like kind of the closest defense that they can do.
My cousin Ray was there, and he was
Ray pulled the trigger.
Ray saw red, and it just got crazy. Yeah. And then she's like, well, that was probably an accident because Ray was frustrated with something else. And I don't know, mate. Yeah. They can't get to
Good point, the judge. Good point.
They can't get to the conclusion that Gavin Newsom's wife did for them without even knowing them.
Yeah.
There's another tweet that kind of sums up the progressive ideology when it comes to crime and repeat offenders.
Yeah, this is a common theme we've talked about. They don't think it's impossible to fight crime without tackling other issues. They are saying that they will not allow you to fight crime until they're satisfied with your effort on other issues. And they will never be satisfied. You will never be allowed to tackle crime.
That's it. It's always, we can't tackle crime because there's not enough after-school programs, or there's systemic racism, or we need to defund the police, and then we'll solve all the problems and tackle crime, and it won't even exist after we solve all those things, and all those things are impossible to solve, so you'll never fix crime. Mm-hmm. And our next story proves that it actually is possible to tackle crime if you make some changes. But before we get to it, we have a very special message from the Wellness Company. Guys, Americans love sushi. Over the last 2 decades, raw fish consumption has exploded. There's sushi bars everywhere. Gas stations and grocery stores sell it. Millions of people are eating raw fish weekly. But there is a hidden risk people aren't thinking about, and that's parasites. Salmon is one of the most popular fish worldwide, but it naturally contains more than 70 parasites. Most are tiny and nearly impossible to see, and they are making their way into the human body. Once inside, parasites can hide for years while frequently laying eggs before any symptoms appear. This is why many physicians are raising awareness about parasite exposure. Dr. Peter McCullough recommends doing a parasite cleanse at least once a year as a preventative measure. The Wellness Company offers a hard-to-access prescription parasite cleanse, USA compounded ivermectin and mebendazole. Ivermectin paralyzes the parasite's nervous system while mebendazole starves them. Each capsule contains 25 milligrams of ivermectin and 250 milligrams of mebendazole, lab tested for quality. You can now get a more budget-friendly 45 capsule option that costs $250 less, giving you 2 21-day parasite cleanses, same formula as the original, just a smaller quantity. Head to twc.health/Fleccas today and use code Fleccas at checkout for $35 off and free shipping. That's twc.health/Fleccas. Code Fleccas gets you $35 off and free shipping. This is for USA residents only. Thank you to the Wellness Company for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to the Wellness Company for sponsoring.
Thank you to the Wellness Company.
All right, this next story is what San Francisco did to improve their break-ins and petty crimes.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming a continued series on the show. San Francisco, that place that hit rock bottom probably during peak woke, is actually fighting back a little bit. And we did it with a BART. We did it with one other thing. But here's some more data. Reported car break-ins in San Francisco each month, all the way into 2026 right now.
That's a straight line down.
That is a nice improvement. And then think about this, like number on a chart, right? Reported car break-ins, number on a chart per month. 2.3 thousand in one random month in early 2020. Think about how many people had a broken window and like had their day ruined, a tax of whatever they lost plus the cost of the window, whatever. I just want to, visualize. These aren't just numbers. These are people with a miserable day, right?
100 people a day, basically.
Exactly. So someone tweeted and said, San Francisco is now a model for how to fight crime. And we're not quite there, but we're getting close. They're improving, right? A few years ago, it averaged 86 car break-ins per day. Today, 15. San Francisco did two things. And the most important one was got a DA that prosecutes criminals. Following the successful recall of Chesa Boudin, DA Brooke Jenkins started prosecuting prolific offenders and said so loudly. Crime dropped every year since she took office. So I'm sure we don't agree with her very much, but if you hammer down on the specific issue at hand, which is 2.4 thousand in a single month, you got to do something, right? And then they put tech to use. In 2024, San Francisco activated 400 license plate readers and deployed 80 drones citywide. This tech feeds officers live intelligence on subjects in motion. Drones also have assisted in 1,000 plus arrests since then. The technology lets authorities solve crimes as they happen rather than depend on much more intensive, legally perilous post hoc investigations, which ironically are often more intrusive than using tech, which is an interesting point there. The results, car break-ins down 85%, robbery down 30%, burglary down 33%. Homicides hit their lowest level since 1954. And this guy goes on to compare it to Austin, which is kind of going through its own rock bottom moment right now where property crimes are up. They just elected a DA. I think we talked about it briefly. But so broad picture here, right? This is what someone quote tweeted it, which is what we agree with. Notice in every city where crime is down, most cities, there's no reduction in poverty, no improvement in educational outcomes, no end to systemic racism, no massive increase in affordable housing. If I didn't know better, I'd think those things are unrelated to crime fighting.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not about occupying the kids or giving them something to do. It's about prosecuting criminals, saying loudly that you are going to prosecute criminals, because believe it or not, criminals do listen and respond and hear if their friend who they do the crimes with got arrested. So it's nice to see. And I have a dream, Martin Luther King style. I have a dream that cities won't forget what works in policing and go through a negative 9-year period where they're just fucking backwards progressives forgetting how and ruining people's lives by doing it, And it seems like every city has its own ebb and flow. Austin is going down. San Francisco, you should be proud of yourselves. You're going up, even though you're, we beat San Francisco up for a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a turnaround, right?
Yeah, a new DA that actually prosecutes crime, and the crime goes down immediately.
Zero gimmicks, zero gun buybacks or weird community outreach things. It's just arresting the offenders. It's a very simple concept,
Maybe
guys.
we'll give them more needles?
Yeah.
That will make crime
Are the
go
needles
down?
clean enough? Are they getting enough? Right?
Exactly. All right, our next story is about the guy who burned down the warehouse because he was unhappy with his pay. Here's him starting the fire.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. We may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live.
And the whole building ended up burning down. His name was Kamal Abdul Karim.
Of the Abdul Karim family. Yeah. They're famously from Ontario, California, right?
Yeah, and they'll say California man.
Yeah.
And this is the same energy as Luigi Mangione.
Totally.
And I think we're going to probably see more events like this as maybe things get worse and affordability gets worse. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really return in like in an effective way like this guy thought it would, because the warehouse and inventory are definitely insured. So he just kind of fucked his coworkers out of a job.
Yeah, now nobody can get paid, underpaid as you claim. But it's all fully insured because that's what a massive corporation like Kimberly-Clark does. And then you want to talk about the pay for some of these guys?
Yeah, he was complaining about the pay. He didn't pay us enough to live. I looked into the company. Entry-level jobs are paying pretty good, I think.
Yeah, 23 to 26.50 an hour basically, and then national averages hover around 23 to 24 per hour. So not great, but not crazy. And it's a migrant type or, probably first generation with a name like Abdul Karim. I can't imagine the family's been here that long, but he, took it upon himself to kind of be the tip of the spear for that. And it's so fascinating because migrants and how many foreigners are here are driving Americans' wages down. But he has a freak out over this, right?
And then his response to it was to burn the thing down. It's kind of like a third world thing to do.
Low impulse control moment for Abdul Karim, right?
Yeah, you couldn't think 5 minutes ahead to when you did it on video and they're going to come get you and now you're in jail probably forever.
You're going to jail for a very, very long time, right?
Definitely. But the theme from that story is affordability is like driving people to extremes.
Which I agree with,
Yeah. And affordability.
We just disagree on the methods to do that. You don't blackmail your employer. You deport 50 million people, and you bring back manufacturing.
You don't shoot a CEO.
Competition. Yeah, you don't execute a CEO. You would never do that, right?
No, of course. But yes, affordability is a major issue, especially for the generation that has student loan debt. This girl explains her student loan debt and how much worse it's gotten.
I owe a mortgage amount of student loans. Yep, that's how much I owe. And I have paid $165,356 towards this amount. But here's the thing. When I started, I owed $96,000. So again, I borrowed $96,000. I have paid $165,356.46, and I still owe $220,810.73.
So this is an example of compound interest, and it's basically usury, and it's like a neck around the weight of an entire generation of people, and this is how you destroy societies.
Yeah, and so
$90K loan, and you're paying back basically $400K.
I'd love to know her interest rate. She's blocking it. And then this is also like, there's the personal responsibility for it and there's the societal responsibility for it. Mm-hmm. And so personal responsibility, someone should have read her the Riot Act. Parents, if you're going into college and you say, I'm not helping you, read her the Riot Act about how this is how much you'll owe. And if you just make your minimum payments, it'll balloon. And if you miss payments, it'll go crazy. So there's the personal side of that where she does need personal responsibility. But then there's the societal side, which is why are these aren't dischargeable in bankruptcy? Why? And most of them are federally funded. I think it was a FAFSA loan, so that's a federal program. And so we need to rethink these things for worthless degrees as a country. It became one of those money machines. Like student loan business is great. It's a money machine. And so they'll lobby to keep it federally guaranteed and all that, and you can't discharge them through bankruptcy. But then people like this get smoked, and it's half her, half society. 18-year-old signing the loan papers. I don't know.
That's, I think, the problem. It's like, I'm 18. I want to go to college. Sign this paper, and you'll go to college like everyone else. You have to go to college. That's how you get a job. And everyone else is going, and they go, okay. And they sign, and they think 4 years is never going to end. They have a fun time, and then you're 5 years out, and you owe $400,000, and you're fucked.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's responsibility on both sides, but we need some structural changes, right?
And then when you do get fucked when you're out after a few years, and what did you learn in college? These people are oppressive. These people are oppressed. And
beer bong. Who oppressed me?
Beer bong and oppression. And then when you get out, instead of like looking and self-reflecting and saying, maybe I shouldn't have signed that loan without reading the fine print, you say, this is the reasons capitalism's failing. This is the problem with capitalism. And you kind of come out of college with like a new mindset to attack your problem.
Yeah. And then if you stop doing those guaranteed and undischargeable loans, then the price of colleges will go down. They're ripping you off because they know they got you by the balls, basically.
Yeah, very true. All right, we have a little bit of a fraud section. The first is good news about federal bureaucracy going down.
The federal government workforce cratered by 18,000 jobs in March alone. It is now the lowest since 1966 after 14 straight months of decline.
And apparently there's been 352,000 federal employees who have been fired, resigned, or retired without being replaced under Trump.
Nice.
Which is great. That's huge. That's a lot. That's where a lot of the bloat was.
That's a lot of bloat. And I fear a lot of these federal employees are like the migrants, where if Trump leaves, then they'll come back.
Yeah.
Some Joe Biden type offer of everyone can come back with all your benefits and back pay. So
back pay.
I'm worried about it.
Back pay like it never happened.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens. And then we have a stat here about migrants losing their benefits.
Yeah, 1.4 million lawfully present immigrants are expected to lose health coverage due to the 2025 tax and budget law. Immigrants lose access to food aid in more states as federal restrictions take effect. And this was about CalFresh, which is California, I guess.
And then there was a tweet that kind of sums up what that means after.
Several states are experiencing a benefits purge wherein tens of thousands of migrants are losing benefits access. Later this year, that will extend to health and education. Red states like Tennessee are trying to pass laws that would force hospitals, schools, and judges to comply.
That's pretty good.
It's a little slow moving for my taste, but it is nice. We are slowly taking away some of the resources that should have never been available to them in the first place. You know, there's a little bit of the illegal migrant, right? There's a little bit of you're a pirate, you know, you're swashbuckling, you're on your own. It's a wild world. And now it's free food, free healthcare, free this, free that. There's no risk to coming here. And we want to make sure that risk is higher so that it disincentivizes people to even come.
That's so true. The old energy was, oh, you go to America, and if you work hard, you can figure it out. You can make something of yourself. And it's like now you go to America, and you get to the final result on arrival.
Yeah.
It's pretty frustrating. In Minnesota, obviously, we've covered all the fraud there, the billions and billions and billions in fraud. Now the House Democrats in Minnesota are trying to add a tax for the rich.
Chair Gomez, please proceed with your presentation when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So House File 4616 imposes a 1% tax annually on fortunes above $10 million. And so this is a different kind of tax base than we have in Minnesota, and I believe a different tax base than anyone in the country, any state revenue kind of code in the country touches. And, you know, this really comes from, for me, I've heard my entire life.
Do we need to
these
listen?
Statistics.
No.
1% over 10 million.
Yeah, 1%
right?
if anyone has over 10 million after losing billions to fraud, and everyone saw it.
Yeah.
Everyone saw it. Everyone's pissed. Everyone sees the empty strip malls and the fake offices and all the people who are abusing the system. And then you come out weeks after that and say, we're going to raise the tax for the rich people.
Imagine it affecting a Somali who had scammed.
No.
And it's like you get some of your money back from the Somali because he's now worth 15 million.
That's real.
But yeah, like, again, this is similar to the Elizabeth Warren thing. All these new taxes, because we know the Democrat Party is after this. Unrealized gains, wealth tax, inheritance tax, all these little ones. And it's just so unpopular. We know what you've wasted. I know what you did. And then you're proposing this extra tax. So it's crazy. And don't forget this when you're voting later. And if you're a Minnesota man or anything like that, or woman, you got to campaign against these people as hard as you can because they want more to misspend. And it's so crazy, right?
And a lot of people are frustrated with the policies of Democrats in these blue cities and states, so they're leaving. And there's an answer to that, too.
Yeah, across the country, at least 10 states, including Washington, are now exploring or have already passed an exit or wealth tax to combat revenue losses from residents fleeing to lower tax areas.
So it's like you think it's like a free market. If you don't like it here, go live somewhere else. But if you move, we're going to take it before you go.
This is going to go to the Supreme Court, right? It has to. This seems extra legal or something that needs to be tested at least. But it's not a great sign when there's like an extortion level event happening when you leave, right? It doesn't really speak volume. It does speak volumes about how Democrats are perceived right now, right? Like we're so bad that people are leaving, but we have to get them on the way out.
They're proving them right.
It's crazy, man. And like these are things that we fought the Revolutionary War over what, like 3% T tax or something even lower. Mm-hmm. We didn't have income tax for so long, and now it's you can't leave Washington unless you give me some money. It's fucked up. It's predatory. That's like a loan shark thing, right?
Yeah. And then if you try to leave,
Kathy Hochul will break your fucking legs.
Send someone over.
What are you kidding me? And so I don't know. I think that'll eventually turn up at the Supreme Court, and Ketanji Brown Jackson it'll go 8-1. You guys know how it goes.
She'll go.
I think they can. They losing too much.
I'm against Trump.
Yeah.
All right, this next podcast clip is two people. I don't think he's right wing at all. But
No,
it's
he's
like
a leftist. He's Matthew Iglesias, and he worked for like Slate and Vox and Atlantic. And
so
shit.
it's two leftists, and one is asking like an honest question, and listen to the response from the other one.
At my son's school, at least the last time I looked at it, the school lunch services are provided by a company called Sodexo Magic. And the Magic is Magic Johnson. He has a company called Magic Johnson Enterprises.
Okay.
And one of the things they do is they have this subsidiary that's 51% owned by Magic Johnson, 49% owned by Sodexo. And it's just a relabeling of Sodexo's cafeteria services, except now it's a minority-owned business. So they qualify for some DCPS contracting. What is being achieved here? Right now, I could imagine it's 1965. We just signed the Voting Rights Act, and the DC government is like, we are going to make sure that we are supporting minority-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Is Sodexo Magic accomplishing what you were trying to accomplish? Like, I don't think it is. And I think so much
who
of...
Who cares, man?
Who
Like, sorry,
cares?
like, there are other situations where I'm like, yeah, like, someone's really missing out here. Like, who cares? Like, this is...
Who cares that the government's favoring people based on race?
And it's so funny. And then not just people, rich people who use it as like a tax harvesting system where it's like, oh, well, I have $500 million. I own the Lakers partially. I got to put some of this to work. What opportunities are there for me? Well, you're not going to believe this Magic Johnson, multi-millionaire.
I think he's a billionaire.
I think he's close. I don't know what percent of the Lakers
I think he owes
owned.
I think he's worth $1.6 billion.
Could easily be.
But it helps brown people, so who cares?
Yeah, and then you know what's so funny about this too is like the guy, Matthew Iglesias, he's got a natural curious mind. He dug into something. He was like, well, what's going on here?
Something ain't right.
Dug into it, and he goes, well, that's a little silly. And then, who cares? Don't worry about this, right?
Yeah. So that's how they apply it for everything. Oh, there's tons of illegals here that came under Joe Biden. Who cares? They just want to work. It's better than Haiti.
Who cares?
And then it gets to the point where who cares? And then it gets past the point of no return where you can't reverse it anymore. And then it's, oops.
I care now, and it's too late. But yeah, just a fantastic little excerpt there of how they think. The guy, you could tell he wants to like do it the right way. Give a government contract opportunity to a guy who's working on something similar and he hasn't been able to break in yet. But instead, it's just Magic Johnson's money manager swooped in, created an entity. Okay, here's our operating agreement. Boom, boom, boom. The company, it's just so bad. Right?
We're not going to say the religion of Magic Johnson's money manager who probably thought this up.
And so, and that's the thing too. It's all of these things. There's theory and there's practice. And everyone who's paying close enough attention knows that the theory isn't even good. The theory is just mediocre. And it's racial animosity, right? And then in practice, it's actually even worse. So
very true. All right, our next story, Spangberger, her approval rating is going down in Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger's approval rating stands at 47%. 2 months into the Democrats' term, with 46% of voters disapproving in a post-Schar school poll. Her current ratings reflect sharp polarization among Virginia voters.
So we have a tweet we're going to read, but basically bigger picture, I think this is the Democrat model going forward, is you run a person who was maybe formerly in the CIA, and then you run as a moderate, like, hey, let's get back to normal. Let's return to normalcy.
Affordability.
Trump's too much. We're going to focus on affordability. Let's get back to basics.
Families,
all this stuff. And then once you're in, you just do the worst possible shit you can imagine. No crime for criminals. Illegals are fine.
Disenfranchise every Republican voter I can through gerrymandering.
Require kids to be transgender. A certain quota of kids has to be transgender.
We're thinking 12%. And this guy kind of laid it out. He said, Abigail Spanberger foreshadows how Democrats plan to run in 2028. They will campaign as moderates who just want to work across the aisle and make your life affordable. If they get power, they will immediately move to open the border, raise your taxes, take away your guns, and crush the ability of Republicans to win another election.
That's how I see it.
Pretty standard. Yeah, I agree. Virginia's in a bad place right now.
And this next story, I don't fully understand, but it's about gerrymandering. Can you read the tweet?
Yeah, this woman says, every city and county shown in green voted for the nonpartisan redistricting amendment that gave us the fair maps we have now. Virginia must vote no in the upcoming referendum for the simple fact that Democrats are lying when they state they will be restoring fairness.
And apparently they're planning on spending like $50 million to make sure that the new gerrymandering maps go through, even though the entire state, except for that tiny little red dot,
kind of already did it. Already
did
voted,
it.
Yeah.
So they're really going out of their way. All right, let's get to our Iran stories. Obviously, there was that ceasefire from a few nights ago, which is good to see, even though Israel's still kind of like sending missiles and trying to ruin it.
To be fair, I think Israel got hit pretty hard on that ceasefire night, so we're not going to be unfair to Israel. I saw there were a lot of missile alerts, but then they did say, "No, Lebanon's not in the ceasefire," which is it's ugly, but this one in particular you can't say.
Okay. And there's going to be some peace talks this weekend, apparently, so hopefully that's the full end of it. The Trump tweet that you guys saw a few days ago, a whole civilization will die tonight, that whole thing.
Never to be brought back again. It was posturing and threats, right, in order to get what you wanted, which ultimately was a ceasefire or negotiation.
Posturing and threats, but also like he could have acted on it and actually done it.
And has. And they have bombed Iran unilaterally, right?
Which is intense. And then a guy on Twitter, Dissident West, said he can unilaterally decide to wipe out an entire nation, but if a female judge in Vermont tells him he can't deport anyone, he's powerless to do anything about it. Clown world shit. That's the frustrating part.
I know. I agree.
We have so much power in some areas, but then when it comes to like domestic stuff and just like enforcing common sense laws, some Obama judge goes, Yeah. And that's annoying. All right. Do you have anything on that?
No, it's self-explanatory. It's true. If the foreign policy powers are so giant, and we just face all the resistance everywhere. So yeah, you said it.
Yep. And then, like I mentioned in the intro, the CIA used a special tool called the Ghost Murmur to find the downed pilot fighter jet in Iran.
Ethan Hunt, Mission Impossible level shit here.
As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authorities. And because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected.
So the tool they were using is called Ghost Murmur, and it's a tool that can detect a heartbeat from 40 miles away using synthetic crystals.
Yeah, it uses sensors built from synthetic diamonds to lock onto the electromagnetic fingerprint your heart produces every single beat, then pairs it with AI to filter that one signal from 1,000 square miles of noise, is kind of what it sums up.
I mean, that's kind of sick.
It's sick. And then the main thing that I think about when I hear something like this is like, there's no like move away from America or we lost America to foreigners. Like, that's why we have to fight for our country, because we have all the fucking sickest shit.
Yeah.
Nobody can mess with us. So we have to take it back and put it in the good guys' hands, right? Basically.
Yeah, the Muslims take over and then
they're using heart murmur to get you.
They're using the nukes. But that thing...
And the government can really get you whenever they want, which is kind of a scary thought, right?
Yes. And that thing, it can sense a heartbeat from 40 miles away. It's basically an aura tracker. Yeah. Like, it can see the invisible dimensions that are around us, and like everyone gives off a different aura. And if you're nice, your aura is like strong and bright. And then if you're mean, your aura is like weak and dark, like those things from Ghost.
Okay.
So like this is a machine that can see like your invisible aura. And then that's why like pets can see it. And that's why if you meet somebody and you get a bad gut feeling, like subconsciously you're seeing their invisible field that surrounds them and like pulses with their heartbeat.
All right, I think you're combining schizophrenic shit with real technology we have, but...
No, it's real.
Fair play.
But I think that's what it is. It's like this machine that's like synthetic diamonds or whatever is able to see that glow in the middle of nowhere from far away. I think it's kind of cool, and it also could be made up.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be a psyop to make our opponents think we got like crazy shit. But the only reason apparently they used that tool is because the rescue mission got leaked. And then the bad guys were trying to find our pilot too. So they're like, all right, how do we find him really, really, really fast?
That Israeli journalist leaker, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened?
He's going to jail, right, Mr. Trump? That's what they said.
He better.
So it could be a psyop and made up, but it could also be a really cool, like, alien adjacent tool.
Yes, we are getting into that zone where the highest tech shit is really, really almost alien.
Yeah, almost. That's how I explain computer chips.
Dude, some of the chips, I mean, we showed it, the hot dripping whatever, where it's using a mirror and dripping a hot molten thing to carve out chips that are smaller than, it's crazy. I almost can't even comprehend it.
Oh, and then you zoom in.
Only one company on Earth can do it.
Yeah, and then like
they're in Switzerland.
They met with the aliens.
Yeah,
the aliens taught just them how to do it.
I'm certainly out of my element when discussing these
especially when you like zoom all the way in and you see all these little like data nodules. And then you're like, oh, that's where the information goes.
What?
What? You stuff it. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it?
We're certainly in the future, though, right now.
Yeah, we're deep. All right, our next clip is J.D. Vance talking about how it's important to not be blackpilled.
The piece of advice I'd give to you, and I give it to American students, American conservatives in particular, is resist the temptation to think that victory is immediate or that we're going to win back our civilization through instant gratification. This institution was founded in 1996. It's far more influential than it was back then, but I think a lot of people, this is particularly true in the United States of America, if they see something that the administration does they don't like, they say, oh, that's not what we voted for, we're going to check out of politics. No. That's the exact wrong response. If we do something you don't like, the response should be to get more involved, to make your voice heard, and to try to push things in the direction that you want them to be pushed. Our civilization was not built overnight. It's not going to be saved overnight. And so what I'd encourage you to do is stay involved, be patient, and don't let disappointment turn to checking out of the system entirely. There's way too much of that, I would say, in the Anglo system and the American system. There's way too much, I didn't like this thing that the vice president said, or I didn't like this thing that the president did, and I'm going to completely check out. We call that blackpilling in the United States of America, and blackpilling is how you give power to the forces that are trying to destroy what our ancestors built.
So it is true. Like, America won't be saved overnight. Like, that is very true. But it will be destroyed after years of abuse and fraud and 50 million illegals. And that's been happening for 50 years.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of urgency a little bit.
Totally. I agree with JD's message there. And sometimes you have to push back. And that's why I have no problem like trying to correct the administration or offering ideas, what could be done faster. But I very much agree. There is a lot of urgency. I think more urgency than ever right now, especially this tight little window.
Especially with the midterms coming up. Like, if they get in, Trump will be a lame duck president, and then they'll impeach him, and then the next Democrats will get into power. They'll win. Amnesty to the illegals. We'll never win an election again, and then the country's actually gone. So there is like a couple months to 2 years where like a lot of stuff does need to get done that can't be reversed.
Definitely.
So let's hope for the best. Migrant section, you ready?
I said dolphinately.
I heard. Okay. What? That's from a movie. Dolphinately.
I think so, yeah.
It's from like Dude, Where's My Car or something. All right. We have a little bit of a migrant section here. First thing we're talking about is the Dignity Act, which I'm sure you guys heard about this week.
The Dignidad Act. And yeah, it was a bipartisan bill sponsored by 20 House members on the right, 20 House members on the left. They snuck it out and they swore it was an amnesty.
They keep saying it's not amnesty.
It's not amnesty. I swear to God. And he's like sweating profusely. I swear, unbuttons his shit. It's really not amnesty. And it was very disappointing, and it was obviously universally hated by everybody on the right. The Dignity Act is way worse than anyone was aware. Section 2303D says anyone who claims they arrived before 2021 cannot be removed. Anyone can make the claim. Automatic block by ICE to deport them for years. So they made some weird delineation where all the illegals Joe Biden let in are bad, but everybody else before is fine. Like, what are you talking about? This guy was on it, Mike Lawler. He was kind of one of the faces of it. I already said this. 20 Republicans and 20 Democrats, the first serious bipartisan immigration bill. There should be no bipartisan immigration bills because one side goes crazy and then the other side needs to go crazy in response. That's pretty simple,
and
right?
if the other side's agreeing to it, it's like a trick.
Yeah. And Mike Lee said, when you have to say it's not amnesty, it's usually amnesty. They called it dignidad in Spanish, so you know what ethnic group is going to mainly benefit, obviously. I don't know, green card access. The act aims to streamline green card applications for high-skilled workers and international graduates, helping clear backlogs.
And like we've already, like that's been abused already. Like, oh, high-skilled workers, and then everyone's a high-skilled worker. You work at 7-Eleven and you're a high-skilled worker.
H-1B 7-Eleven.
And apparently it's it's another like stapling green cards to diplomas type thing. And then we have a tweet here.
Yeah, Rep. Maria Elvira Salazar in Florida. She says, read the bill before you open your mouth. Calling the Dignity Act amnesty isn't just wrong, it's a deliberate distortion, and it exposes just how little you know about the bill. And some like Latina woman who's telling you about the Dignidad Act.
Yeah.
And she got fact-checked on Twitter, which said it grants amnesty, permanent residency, deferred action and legal status, and halts deportations. Like, it's one of the sloppiest, worst fucking bills ever. And I compared it to, like, the whole thing is, we won 2024. We won. It was a mandate to deport people. Mass deportations were the signs that people were
That was the
holding
number
up.
one thing.
And so I just thought it was like when the Japanese got nuked twice and went on to the USS Missouri to surrender, and they come in and be like, okay, so what are you giving me? Like the defeated team is now saying, oh, now we're ready for compromise. It doesn't fucking work like that. It's a ping pong ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Japan goes, what have you got for me? Admiral Yamamoto or something comes in. Can you give me a drink? Let's talk.
Let's start with the drink.
It will be a bipartisan surrender where we
Yeah.
get all the shit back, right?
Exactly. This could have maybe happened under Joe Biden, and maybe it would have made more sense. But when you have the mandate from the people and you are put into power, now is not the time to find common ground to ease up on the promises.
Yeah, and if you're in a district with one of these people and you're involved in politics at all, dude, these people, like a boneheaded move like this should end your fucking career as a Republican. And then another thing, we have often talked about how it's so frustrating that states like Indiana or Kentucky will vote 70% for Donald Trump in the presidential election. And then their elected representatives will play it like a middle of the road median guy, right? And the left, when they get elected, they represent the left. They get elected by the left and they represent the left. The right, they get elected by the right and then they represent the middle. And so it's like fighting with one arm tied behind your back when all your elected officials are backstabbers, right?
It's very true.
So pay attention to who really supported this, and we got to work to get these people out, man.
Yep. And then we have some, I guess, good news out of Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi governor set to sign bill making illegal immigration a state crime. This is how much shit is like moving slow on the federal level that states are having to fortify and put laws on the books for being illegal because the federal enforcement just isn't there. And red states, it's nice to see, right? And we know red states are clamping down on all the benefits that illegals are getting. So it's just nice.
And that would let like police officers enforce immigration, basically.
Yeah.
Like, if you're illegal, a cop can detain you and you broke a state law, so you don't have to go talk to ICE.
Yeah, and then it creates basically a no-go zone. Like, I'm not safe in Mississippi, I stay in LA. So it's a nice incentive, right?
And then, bigger picture, all these red states do that. Then you load up all the illegals in the blue states, and then we round them up easier.
And it's so strange to me. Like, we're not going to go detail by detail on the Dignidad bill, but it's just a sign of such bad political instincts. Any Republican to be involved in this, it's career suicide. It's unbelievable, and it kind of shows you, like, do you think at all? Are you thinking critically about the world we live in at all? Do you think just anyone before Joe Biden's shitty ass term can get a path to citizenship here?
Yeah.
Total disrespect for the rule of law and the president and who we elected, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, our next article was written by a leftist, and he's making the case for immigrants not needing to assimilate.
Yeah, it was an article by Shadi Hamid, and he wrote it for the Washington Post. Why do Muslims need to be like everyone else? A case against assimilation. And the title is Opinion. I'm tired of proving I belong in America. Minorities don't need to show they are like everyone else.
And it's interesting because this is written after millions of Muslims are already not assimilating.
Yeah.
So it's not like they are, and it's like, guys, we don't have to do this. You don't have to go to the baseball game and wear the Yankees
Throw
hat.
that apple pie on the ground, brother. Inshallah, brother. Get that apple pie out of here.
They're not doing it, even though that was the standard for, like, as long as the country's existed and immigration has existed. It's always been assimilation is the standard. You learn English, you become American. Yeah. And now all of a sudden it's not the case, and they're defending it, which is kind of a double.
Yeah, it's kind of just where we are now. Like, they're openly saying, no need, brother. Just form an ethnic enclave anywhere you can. And if you have an NGO that's helping resettle you there, enjoy. Make it Little Palestine. I think I just saw a neighborhood in Chicago got a sign that said Little Palestine. Great.
Not where I want to be.
Should
you know what happens to Big Palestine. Yeah. I don't want to be a Little Palestine.
Little Palestine gets hit too. Yeah, and I don't know, he goes on, but we're not going to go point by point. You guys shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't even come here. If you're not going to assimilate, then what's the point? You just want an economic zone, and that's not what we're about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then this next migrant video is about people who are about to break into America across the border, and they're hiding on the other side of the border. And here's one of the guys who I guess doesn't need to assimilate when he gets here. He's got his hooks ready. All right, they got their hooks ready for America.
Oh, Jimmy Hook hands. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what border that is, but man.
Coming to a city near you.
Mm-hmm. No need to assimilate, brother.
What do you want to do with those hooks?
Is that part of your culture? Can you show me how you use the hooks? And then he fucking got them. Yeah.
All right. What do we have next? We have some Texas teens who allegedly kidnapped someone because they were talking to their girlfriend.
Yeah, 4 Texas teens allegedly kidnapped, tortured classmates for talking to one of their girlfriend, and they look like Edgars. They are not Texas teens. They're Mexican types, but the New York Post will say Texas teens, as they always do. Basically, the story goes like this. The attack occurred in late February. The victim left high school with 3 of the suspects under the impression that they were going to get pizza. After a brief stop at a gas station, the suspects drove the victim to a home on FM 969, where a 4th suspect was waiting in a detached garage. Once inside, the suspects used duct tape to bind the victim's hand and feet and cover his mouth. One suspect held a gun to the victim's head while the others beat him with aluminum bats, a walking cane, and a belt. The victim reported being burned, forced to drink alcohol, and repeatedly threatened with death. And yeah, he ended up, and the investigator said the assault was recorded by one of the suspects. So real brain trust here with these 4 Hispanic kids, right?
And kidnapping and torturing like that is a very like third world Hispanic cartel thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
And you made that point a while ago that we're going to see more kidnappings and like these crimes that don't really exist in America. We're going to be seeing more, and that's an example of it.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, if it was a white kid or something like that, he didn't even think that was on the table. There's no fucking way pizza could turn into me being tortured for hours and burned, right?
By a white kid, yeah.
So you're playing a game against people who are playing a completely different game that you don't know about, and then you don't know any of the rules to it, right?
Yeah, that's so true. Like if I lure Richard over with some pizza at my house, we're getting a full pizza each, some side stuff, all paid for by me.
Yeah, it's on him. It's on his Uber Eats. He's luring me over. Come on, man, let's hang out. Let's watch TV. Let's watch a movie and eat some pizza. And I'm like, no, I'm staying at my place. No, I don't want to come. Come on, man, pizza.
I got the bat ready.
And I do get pizza. So it works out. But yeah, and that's to say that sometimes you can't even read the negative intentions of these people. We have another story, and we're going to make some broader points after this. This was in Missouri.
New disturbing details tonight after prosecutors charged another man in the murder of 15-year-old Miles Young. Greene County prosecutors say on March 12th, a juvenile girl messaged Young, convincing him to meet her for sex, all while the girl and 4 others, including Jeffrey Archega, were planning to set Young up. The girl then picked Young up in a separate car. Court documents say witnesses who knew Young told him not to go with her because she didn't like him and blamed him for the death of another person in a Greene County homicide from 2025. After Young was picked up, him and the girl were on West Maplewood when the other car with Archega and others turned to block the road, and according to witnesses, Young bolted and Archega followed him with a handgun. One witness told police they heard Young on the phone say he didn't want to die before they heard 2 more gunshots. Young was considered a witness in a 2025 Greene County homicide case and was expected to testify. Investigators wrote in court documents that Archega has gang affiliations and has no remorse for his actions.
So it's like gang beefs and intimidating witnesses, and the guy's like in high school.
Yeah, and then that's a very common like gangbanger thing is set you up. A girl will set you up. And again, I don't know how white that kid is. I think he's pretty white, but you're not in this world. You're an 18-year-old, 17-year-old from Missouri. You're not in the, oh, I'm getting set up. It's, oh, Michelle likes me, you know?
Yeah.
And so a broader point here that I've wanted to make and I've been stewing on recently is these kids kind of maybe missed some signs, like the 4 Hispanic teens who are going to torture you. Do you think they acted completely normal leading up to that? Or were there some signs or cultural things, like it was quiet in the car on the way to get pizza? Everyone was in a solemn mood, right? Or the same thing here, the setup, like, I don't know, was this girl? Do I usually get text to come and hook up with this girl? Like, sometimes it's hard to determine the tone of people across an ethnic line, right? And that's what I want to make the broader point on, is something I've seen a lot in crime, in body cam footage, in true crime cases, is there's a disconnect when your country becomes less ethnically homogenous and you're dealing with random English as a second language people from all over the world. It's harder to kind of understand or know when someone's full of shit when they're speaking broken English to you, right? And there was a particular case I saw recently. I just in like listening to true crime on my own. It was about this Indian father, an elderly man who killed his wife and killed his daughter and like couldn't properly dispose of the bodies. And he was getting interrogated by these 2 like Midwestern white guys. And they basically are like, it's pulling teeth interviewing him because we don't speak the same language. You can't tell. You can't analyze. You're kind of like, you know, when I speak to a white American who grew up like me, I kind of know that's full of shit. Well, what was that? You shied away from answering that. When there's a language barrier, you kind of have a tougher time policing crimes or proving someone's guilt or getting to the bottom of something with an interrogation, right? There's kind of this unspoken thing where when everybody knows the same rules and knows the same body language and you've done it 100 times, and then there's an Indian guy who goes, no, it was not that. Like, you don't really know. You don't have the same finger on the pulse of what's going on in this interrogation room, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
And it seems like that might have been the case in some of these, like, oh, I don't know, I'm getting set up. Hey, the Mexican guys asked me to go get pizza. That's great. They've never asked me before, and you kind of maybe don't know the vibes as much. And the caveat being that I think most cops in America end up learning how black people act. They know when a black person's acting a little squirrely, and you learn that on the job pretty easily, but that's kind of like how America is, right? If you're a police officer, you're going to interact with a lot more black people. But like a Haitian, a Somalian, weird cultures where you don't know what the body language means or don't know how nervousness manifests itself, there's a disconnect there, and you might get caught up in it, or you might miss something, or a miscommunication you'll be more likely to attribute to a difference in languages than you were a guilty person or someone lying, right? So that's something that it's also bad to mass import people from the Congo and Somalia and Haiti. And now a cop in a small town or a mid-sized city has to know how a Haitian acts and has to know, you know what I'm saying by that?
And then they let them go if they get arrested a lot. So then you have to always know how to hate the same Haitian keeps acting.
Yeah. So that's sort of like, there are more things than just, and the same thing goes for like going to the DMV or getting your paperwork. There, you need to give more leeway because someone speaks a broken language.
We have an example kind of with this Uber driver getting pulled over.
This is more of a funny example, but watch how the Uber driver handles it. This is Urban Decay 2.
Oh, man, Buzz.
Because of this guy.
That's them behind us?
Yeah. You're a friend of mine.
I'm a friend of yours? Boss, I'm supposed to be going to work. You getting me pulled over by police, bro.
Close your window.
I ain't closing my motherfucking window. I got a warrant, nigga.
You're a friend of mine.
Getting me by police, man.
Foreign cab driver, guy with a warrant.
Should they pull you over? Give me your license and registration right now. Soon. No, give me your license and registration. Soon, I said soon.
What happened?
Put the vehicle.
Let me get out. I'm a night chair employee. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm going to work, so I got the wrong version. I don't know what's going on. Let me get the fuck out. I just need it from my supervisor while I'm late. Oh, shit.
And he just drives off.
So he bolts, but that like soon. What the fuck do you mean? And then you kind of, there's a little gray area there where I don't know, where are you from? Are you incapable of communicating with me? And then even if they are capable of speaking English, they'll play up the inability to speak English soon. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And that happens more and more. Probably a bunch of interrogations, a lot of arrests. You kind of don't get any information from an already dumb with an English language barrier criminal, right?
Yeah.
Soon, right?
And where they come from too, their interactions with police are probably more corrupt. Where you just pay them, or you run off, and they don't even want to chase you.
Yeah, the bribes don't work here.
So that's
Maybe
another
they do.
angle.
Maybe they do with more foreign-born police.
Yeah. All right. Our next clip is that story about the Haitian immigrant illegal who bludgeoned somebody working at a gas station in Fort Myers.
Yeah.
We're not going to show the video because it's probably going to get the channel deleted, but we'll just pause at the moment of impact, basically, and we'll put a black screen above it. It's pretty brutal, and it's just some Haitian guy who needs the Dignity Act.
Yes. And if you guys watch this video, I suggest you watch it off our channel, somewhere on Twitter, because it is just so barbaric.
It's brutal, yeah.
It's a brutal, like, poor woman who wasn't even couldn't even fathom that someone would come up to her point blank and do this to her. And yeah, this guy, DHS confirms to Fox News that the suspect charged with murdering an innocent gas station clerk in Fort Myers, Florida, bludgeoning her to death with a hammer, is a Haitian illegal who was caught and released at the border by the Biden admin in 2022. And yeah, it's extremely graphic. It's a crazy video. And it's a guy who, again, I'm not blackpilling, but it's 2026 and it's April. We're creeping in.
Yeah, we're a year and a half in.
This is Florida. This is a very red state with a red governor. Whose fault is this? Obviously, it's Joe Biden's, but man, we got to go harder because this woman's life could have been saved if we were doing the mass deportations we talked about. So the hour is late. Right?
Very true. All right, let's speed through this last story. It is very interesting and very important. There was a deposition between a cop and a trucker who was illegal.
Yeah, it was a crash. It was an investigation. So the trucker crashed, and then this is now the lawyers following up, asking him.
And the trucker couldn't speak good English, but we have some of the dialogue.
Yeah, question. Who paid for your training at Star CDL?
I'll be the other guy.
Yeah.
U.S. government people.
The U.S. government paid for that?
Yes. Hi S.
Hi S?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a program, I don't know, but they pay for me.
Do you know how much it cost?
$3,100.
Do you have to pay them back?
Oh, no. That was just for us.
Okay. And then Hi S, you can see it transcribed. This is actually happens to be another example of the language barrier. They write Hi S. And the guy doesn't know it's an acronym for HIAS, refugees. And HIAS is the international Jewish organization that stands for a world in which refugees find safety, opportunity, and welcome. Join us. And it's all this shit, open the gates, Jews for refugees. And they paid for this mouth breather who ended up in a truck crash to get his CDL.
And took the job of an American. So it's like so much worse. It's like not only should he have not been here, but he was here, he crashed, and that job he had could have been to a responsible American.
Yep. And then when it comes time to get the answers, there's a little language barrier. You never quite get it. Hi, yes? What's that?
Right. All right, well, that's the end of Migrants. Moving on to the final page of Housekeeping where I can say whatever I want. Use opportunity to go post up with Juicy Algo. Leave a like, comment again, and then start yapping. P.O. Box notifications, old episodes need to be watched, and the link to this episode needs to be sent to the boys in the group chat.
Tight.
Stefan, a show watcher, sent me this, Fleccas own pickled toast.
And it looks like toast in the pickle jar. Very
pickled
nice.
Toast, that's cool.
Good work.
All right, we're going to have a lighter final page just because we're running a little late on time. No big deal. But I found a giant Chinese woman basketball player in China.
Wait, who's that? She the same height as dude squatting?
Oh.
You see how she moves?
Not well.
She's not human.
She big.
This is some government experiment shit. Didn't that...
Look at the jump ball.
Didn't China say... I think that's how they developed Yao Ming. They forced a basketball player.
They just dump it to her in the paint.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's not even hard.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, good ball handling skills too. Small head, tiny head when you get that tall.
Look how she just works you back.
Oh yeah.
And she just shoots from up there. You can't even... She gets her own rebound. You can't even do anything.
Padding her stats. China #1. China #1.
So she dunks. So I'm excited. I'm obviously never going to promote gambling, but this isn't really gambling if you bet on her.
It's a sure thing.
As long as she doesn't get hurt.
Boss, it's a sure thing.
All right, our next piece of the final page is a little workout advice for people who maybe used to work out a lot. Now it's been a few weeks since you've been back in the gym and you want to do something to jumpstart the improvement, but you don't feel like going all the way back to the gym.
Yeah.
Something like that. Can you read what it says?
10 squats every 45 minutes equals 10,000 steps. A study from the University of Texas found that doing just 10 squats every hour can actually control blood sugar better than going for a full 30-minute walk. When you sit all day, your blood sugar spikes, your circulation slows, and your biggest muscles, your legs and glutes, basically switch off. But 10 squats wakes everything up instantly. Your leg muscles pull glucose out of your bloodstream, your circulation improves, and your metabolism switches back on. That's why these microbursts of movement deliver such powerful benefits. In fact, research shows that 10 squats every 45 minutes can give you similar cardiometabolic benefits to hitting 10,000 steps per day. This strengthens your heart, keeps your joints moving, and prevents the dangerous blood sugar spikes that lead to insulin resistance.
And there was a fact check. I think they're probably saying it's not fully 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah. Cited study was compared 10 squats every 45 minutes to a single 30-minute walk, not 10,000 steps for blood sugar.
So whatever, but either way, it is very good for you, and it does keep your body turned on instead of turned off. And this other guy explains why squats are so good.
What does squatting have to do with autoimmune disease? More than most people ever realize. When you squat, it pushes out your lower rib cage and forces your diaphragm down. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people don't realize that 7 of your 10 organs have no muscles of their own. Your heart, stomach, and bladder can move themselves. But your liver, kidneys, intestines, and more depend entirely on your diaphragm's pumping action to function properly. When you squat, you activate that pump. When you don't, those organs are essentially working without power. Autoimmune disease at its core is often simply food staying in your system too long, rotting, releasing toxins, and triggering your immune system to fight itself. When you squat regularly, you directly address that root cause. And here's the thing, squatting is not an exercise trend. It's a fundamental human movement we've been doing for thousands of years. Make it a daily practice and you'll find that you digest better, eliminate more consistently, sleep more deeply, and give your body the internal environment it needs to stop working against itself. I'm Chris Burres.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And, the double joint leg movements are always really good. And if you squat with weights, you release a lot more testosterone and growth hormone, really good for you. But if you guys are in between like doing nothing and the gym, the in-between thing would be setting a timer and doing 10 bodyweight squats every hour for the day and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I tried it the other day.
I think a lot of people just in general, maybe it's a reminder to make sure you're working out your legs somehow. Like neglecting your legs, a lot of people do that. So just make sure you're doing something, even if it's a dumb leg press or whatever. If you can do squats, obviously you should be doing squats.
All right, well, that's the end of the final page. Now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first story of Cringe of the Week, a new gay acronym just dropped in Canada.
When the budget was released, I was shocked to find out that Prime Minister Carney is cutting $7 billion between Indigenous Services Canada and Crown Indigenous Relations. They provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW-G2S LGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent. This is...
I don't think we need to go anymore.
Just smash the keyboard with that one.
Yes.
And then Matt Walsh had an explanation of what it is.
Yeah, everybody was wondering, what is it? And MMIWG2 SLGBTQQIA+, double Q, and then the plus, doesn't matter. But the front part, missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual. So they just added murder victims to the gay thing.
And what's the point of didn't the plus include that already?
That's what I thought.
What's the point of the plus now?
The plus was always, and anybody else who thinks they can be in on it. But now we're adding missing and murdered Indigenous women.
And that lady said a plus at the end of the new one.
Yeah.
So in the future, there'll probably be more, and they just haven't got added yet.
Yeah, which is crazy. But let me tell you this, as someone who listens to all the, women true crime podcasts in my day-to-day, they are obsessed with missing and murdered Indigenous women and the injustice. And they think there's roving bands of white guys in old sedans driving by going, yeah, let me get an Indian woman.
Yeah, they're always referring to it.
Yeah, as if they're not also killed by just other Indian guys, right?
Yeah, it's so true.
And so that's the type of people who you're dealing with up in Canada.
We made some of our own acronyms. We can start with yours.
Yeah, since it's just general oppression, we were thinking, who's really oppressed out there? And me personally, I wrote MCWOGHMD, which obviously means a middle child who only got hand-me-downs.
That's a good one.
No new clothes. You're always getting hand-me-downs. You're kind of on the lower end. You're one of the youngest. So I think that might be in.
I'll do one of mine.
Okay.
VOSFALUEDs, which are victims of soggy fries after long Uber Eats delivery. That happens to pretty much people every day, and no one talks about it.
That might be more important than missing and murdered Indigenous women. So yeah, let's just switch that out.
Do you have any more?
Yeah, I got PWRDTT BICADSFTT, which should be self-explanatory, but I'll spell it out for you guys.
Can I guess it?
Sure.
Is it people with recurring dreams that they're back in college and don't study for the test?
Yeah. How did you know that?
That one makes sense.
Yeah. There are a lot of people affected by that. You wake up, you're in some college class, and you go, I haven't been here all semester. What do you mean the midterms today? And then you shoot up awake.
And it comes in a different language, the test?
Yeah.
And you go, oh, no.
Yeah.
And I have one.
Or sometimes you can't find the classroom. You're looking. You know you have a final, but you don't know where it is.
Or you're in the football game and you don't have your helmet.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, where are you? And you're like, oh, 1 sec. I'm trying to find my helmet. And you're in the stands.
Totally. All these people are pretty oppressed. So I think we should add some letters.
And then I have one PWD GSA 2 a.m. A POTC.
Okay. What happens at 2 a.m.?
That's people whose dog gets sick at 2 a.m. and pukes on the carpet.
Okay. All right. That happens to you a lot?
Yeah, it happens. You hear the dog going, and you're like, no.
Yeah, makes sense, man. So we'll submit these to these queer questioning Canadian Indigenous people.
To represent everyone.
I got to think they're going to deny us, but
they got to represent.
We're going to at least try. But yeah, this was like a joke. This was a 2016 era joke. And it wasn't a joke. It was a prophecy. They're fulfilling it.
Unfortunately.
Right? Yep.
All right, we have some good news for people who want to attend gay bathhouses in Minneapolis.
Time to ditch the dog park, boys. The gay bathhouses might be open soon. Minneapolis may legalize adult bathhouses, allowing adults to engage in sexual activity, which is weird because there's just laws against that, right? Can't have sex in public and all that. Minneapolis City Council is preparing to consider legalizing and regulating venues such as bathhouses where consenting adults can engage in sexual activity, possibly reversing the city's 38-year ban. The ordinances in question would remove stigmatizing language and add new definitions to be inclusive of establishments where sexual activity between consenting adults may be facilitated. I'll read one last thing. The language of the 1988 ordinance was changed in 2023 at the behest of activists with Safer Sex Spaces Coalition, who argued that it targeted same-sex partnerships and individuals with HIV and AIDS, the Tribune reported.
But what's wrong with targeting problematic things?
Disease-riddled populations. It's pretty standard, health monitoring, right? Hey, that super risky gay sex you guys are having all the time, every day, that's creating new diseases. As a state, we can't really condone that. We're going to have to break that up, right? But so this leftist
in public,
yeah, So you're going to have to go cruise the dog parks, the male bathrooms, the porn shop, all that shit. But yeah, there's this sort of if you target anyone, it's bad. And it's shouldn't they be targeted? Haven't they created new diseases? Didn't the dog get monkeypox? And so we've had monkeypox. We had the second strain of monkeypox that was actually specifically in Minnesota, right?
The resistant one that you couldn't really get rid of.
Yes, there was, I think, a drug-resistant Mpox. I can't keep track of all the gay diseases. Cernovich posted this one after linking new strain of staph to gay men. University scrambles to clarify. So, multi-drug resistant staph infection, or a new type of staph infection, one of the most horrible infections that can actually kill you, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like something that they constantly told us about in the locker room?
Yeah.
Football,
if you ever had,
showers.
Like,
If you had an open wound, you had to do it. And then like the trainer would tape up some guy with an open sore and be like, dude, get the fuck out of here, right?
And they would like draw circles around it and make sure it wasn't growing. And then if it grew, then you couldn't be near the team. Like they had very strict rules.
Yeah, because everybody in football, not gay, by the way, has like cuts and, you get nicked up. And then if you all share the facilities. And so gay guys do it to each other. Cernovich said sodomy at bathhouses created new forms of staph. Now you're not allowed to talk about the new plagues being created in human petri dishes by fornicators running on meth and taxpayer-funded PrEP. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
But the key is, that targets gay people, so we have to get rid of this law. And then it's like the same mindset of like, well, the police are over-policing this area, and now only black people are going to jail. And it's like, well, shouldn't you target where the crimes are, where the shootings happen?
Yeah, if you create 6 new diseases in 15 years, I think we got to target you a little. No offense, nothing personal, gay guys.
Yeah.
No, nothing personal, gay guys who sleep with 50 people a quarter.
So true.
Because that's how you get the fresh diseases, right?
Yeah. We might go a little long today.
Whatever. Dump Uplifting Gold.
No, we can't. But we're not going to dump anything, but we might go a little long. It might be a 2-hour episode.
Chill, Fletch, chill.
All right, next we have a trans Jewish lesbian running for State House.
Hi, I'm Erin Baker, and I am an openly trans Jewish lesbian running for Georgia State House.
Hi, and I'm Jeremiah Olney. I am a straight, white, atheist man running for Georgia State House.
But we're both strong progressives fighting to make housing affordable.
We're fighting for working class power.
Fighting for education for all of Georgia students.
We're fighting for affordable health care.
And together, we're going to transform the Georgia State House of Representatives.
They're going to transform the State House.
Yeah.
And we see what some of her transformations look like in the past.
Shitty red nails, giant 6'4" frame, same height as the other white guy.
Yeah, so maybe no more transformations from you. It's interesting because she's a trans Jewish lesbian, but she also could have been, or he also could have been.
Easy, buddy.
Just
you're going to create a new disease soon. You keep calling her.
But he could have easily just been a straight guy with long hair who likes girls.
Yeah.
You didn't have to add the whole other opposite thing to it.
And then Georgia State House, I don't know what district these people are in, but I just want to reach out to black people really quick. Just a message for black people. Black Democrats in particular, right? You guys aren't voting for dumb shit like this, right? Please. You know the trans Jewish gay lesbian guy isn't really going to help you. It's not really for you, right? Yeah. So I just hope they're aware of these types of people and don't vote them into power. It's never going to help you, right?
You got to vote for that person. They represent me.
What was that dude's name again with that stupid girl voice and the red nails? Oh, that was Aaron Baker.
You got to vote for Aaron Baker.
Jesus.
That's pretty good. All right, next we have a music guy who films his crash outs and puts it on Instagram.
The type of crash outs I genuinely have on the daily because I was stupid enough to believe in myself and put myself out there. Or at least that's how I looked at it a week ago. See, I've been bullied all my life essentially, but this is different. My music is something I'm passionate about, and to get nothing but hate comments on hate comments, naturally it really brought my self-esteem down. So what you're watching is a rage/anxiety attack caught on my dash cam.
He just loops it a few more times and keeps explaining why he's going to quit the internet now.
Because he gets all the negative comments for his music. And I have a couple questions for him. Is the music bad?
Yes.
You know? Because if the
music... be subjective a little bit.
You have to be honest. Because if the music's good, then the commenters are wrong, so who cares? Mm-hmm. And if the music's bad, then the commenters are right, and focusing on the commenters isn't what you should be focusing on. You should be focusing on making the music good.
Yeah. If that's true, then they're helping you. They're going to guide you and bully you to the wrong path. And eventually... if you post something that's fire, they'll go, oh, shit, you kind of switched up. Yeah. This is all right, right?
Exactly. And also posting to Instagram saying, oh, I hate getting hateful comments. I've been bullied my whole life is not really a winning strategy.
You're asking to get bullied. I don't know if you ever learned that lesson before, but the more you squirm, the more you get hit, right?
Yeah. And at the end of the video, he eventually says that, he's taking a break and one day he'll start posting again. So like when the music's perfect and everyone likes him, he'll come back.
Yeah.
You know, you either have the motor or you don't. Like if you make art like that, you have to believe in it so much that it doesn't matter what people say. And if you are reactive to what people say, you'll never make it because you're only going to be reactive.
And I also think everybody has their moments in life where they learn this isn't my strong suit. I'm not going to be a basketball player. I'm a white kid from, suburban Chicago. I guess I'm not going to the NBA or I'm not doing this. Like people act like getting a dream crushed is so offensive or crazy. It's like it happens to everybody all the time, right?
And the way like society is built right now is like anyone that tells you anything other than what you want to hear is a problem.
That's true.
And that's not the case. Like not everyone can be a musician. Mm-hmm. And that's like kind of obvious stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole thing though is like if the music's good, nothing else matters. If the music's bad, that's your problem.
Then they're right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
All right, next. This girl claims that Pilates she thought was white supremacy.
We need to talk about what the deal is with creepy men being obsessed with women who do Pilates. This came out of nowhere in the past few months, and it seems like every manosphere asshole is like super horny about Pilates girls all of a sudden. It's so scary to me. I actually have many thoughts on this. It's of course, first off, like a class indicator because Pilates classes are so fucking expensive. And then I think there's a really dark element to it that Pilates doesn't really exert yourself. You're not running and you're not necessarily lifting heavy things. So you can be pretty weak, which is really scary. You're small, you're weak, you're frail. It's so weird. To be gooning over Pilates is this new thing that's scaring me. I actually avoided Pilates because I felt like it was rooted in white supremacy until I learned the history of it, and now I'm realizing that it's just people misconstruing the history of it because Pilates was invented in a war camp. It was literally invented for prisoners of war to exercise on their hospital beds.
Maybe we need some equitable Pilates with Somalis.
Yeah, I think if a migrant can't come to your Pilates class, then what's the point? It's not equitable.
And it's so interesting how like she's mad at all the guys, but if you brought like Somali men into the Pilates class, they'd be the worst behaved of anybody. And then she says at one point that initially she thought that Pilates was rooted in white supremacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You remember that part?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that assuming something is rooted in white supremacy is actually white supremacy because you're assuming that it was invented by white people because it's good and people like it. So you're assuming, that must have been created by white people.
Yeah.
So that's actually white supremacy.
You're on your back. You're like an overturned turtle. White people must have did that because they're the best at everything and invent everything. And then she got sad when she Googled. She goes, white supremacy hunch. And then she Googled it and then figured out it was a prisoner of war thing, right?
Yeah, but they really circled the wagons around anything nice that white people do.
Yes, and then especially aesthetic white women. Skinny, young, hot white women. They're all doing Pilates. Nothing men do made it that way.
Yeah.
They're coalescing and getting involved and they're doing it together and they come with their yoga mats or whatever the fuck they do.
And guys like it because it's a certain type of girl.
Yeah, it's a certain type of rocket girl. and then she gets crazy. It pisses her off. I smell white women and then I have to investigate. And then the investigation is hopes and dreams and vibes, right?
That's so true. All right, our next clip is kind of related to it. It's the same type of energy. Nice lawns is racist now.
I can't stop thinking about how grass lawns are racist and like based in white supremacy. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay, I guess. It seems really obvious to me. It's really upsetting. Bring back weeds. Bring back clover yards. Look, can anything just be okay in its natural state, or do we just have to whitewash everything, make it a competition, and use it as a sign of your worth as a human being in society? Like, can we just have...
So taking care of your lawn is a white person thing, and then an unkempt lawn with weeds is a brown person thing, is what she's saying.
Yeah, it's another one of those, is this white supremacist backwards things. Like, only a white person could have invented Pilates. Only a white person could keep the lawn this pristine, right?
And taking care of your lawn is racist because brown people don't take care of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets a little...
Gotcha. And then there's a part in this where she kind of just goes, and I'm not going to explain it to you. And if you can't vibe it out, you don't get it. And it's like, no, you're making an insane assertion. You pretty much have to explain it, right?
Yeah.
and ignores the fact that like a nice lawn with actual grass is like where kids play. So she's brown, childless, and I bet her lawn looks like fucking shit, or she doesn't have one. And it's just like an ugly person inside and out. Just constantly looking for something. Dude, and these leftists, they fucking hate golf courses. Something about green grass pisses them off because they're from some shitty part of town that doesn't have green grass. I don't get it. Grass is pleasant as fuck. You guys ever walk barefoot, sunset, you played 18, and you know it's just a return the cart situation, so you go back and play 13 through 18 again, barefoot. That's the best. A migrant will never relate to how good that is.
That's so true. So people have different variations of their lawn. Like people who keep it really nice and people who keep it really bad. But according to her, bad is good because it's all brown people. So everyone who has a nice lawn, that's not right. We need to all go down to a lower level and have shittier lawns for equity.
Yeah, the wild stuff. Do you know what's wild? Weeds. Itchy weeds that just like get in your toddler's neck and give them a rash. Weeds are native. So we don't listen to stupid people like this, right?
Yeah. And we have an example of what Section 8 house maintenance looks like.
Tell me you let your dog shit in your crib without telling me.
So it says POV, you live in the projects and you're dirty and lazy, and it's a bunch of dog shit bags probably thrown from a window up top somewhere for someone who doesn't take their dog out and lets them shit, and then they scrape it off their hardwood floor with a bag and the fingers and the nails, and they don't quite get it all, but they toss it out into the projects. Those are your neighbors.
Taking your dogs out is a white thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably white supremacists. I looked it up. Taking your dogs out. Turns out white people did it first.
And then I found this tweet about Japan and like the decay of society, and I thought we could apply it to this.
Somebody tells a story and they said, when my mother first moved to Japan, she tried to jaywalk while pushing a stroller on an empty residential street. She was immediately stopped by an old, well-dressed Japanese man who solemnly told her in perfect English, the downfall of society begins with the individual.
So I wonder what part of the society's downfall we're at when you're throwing poop bags out the window because your dog shit in the house.
Yep.
Nothing good.
We're deep.
All right, well, that's the end of Cringe. Now moving on to Urban Decay. All right, our first stories from Urban Decay are just some fights. We have a couple Walmart interactions here. Here's the first one. These bitches be fighting.
Yo, that stud going crazy. Yo, that stud going crazy as fuck. Yo, that stud going crazy as fuck. That stud. Oh. Yo, that stud on demon time, right?
And the caption said, never go to Walmart after 9 p.m. I guess in certain areas that's true.
Yeah.
And then in this clip is from Walmart as well. This woman's mad about something and she's just smashing all of the porcelain dishes or toilets or something in the row. Everyone's just standing and watching. What do you do in that situation? You wrestle her down?
Yeah, tackle her from behind. And she's already tired from doing it. You know, she's not even that committed. She's just like seeing it through now with these lazy swings. It's like a lazy chimping out. Crazy.
Very crazy. And then we have a fight here in the hotel hallway.
Oh, took her own weave off. This is a boss fight. These big bitches. 600 pounds.
And then you call downstairs, hello.
Hello, sorry to bother you. I heard a loud commotion outside of my room, and I have an early day tomorrow. This is a business trip for me. Could someone please check on this? And my favorite is this is like a animal type fight where they grab each other's head and start going into punch mode. That is like equivalent to like rams locking horns. That they assume the position. They know what's about to go down.
They lock in and then it's bop,
and
bop,
it's
bop,
it's
bop.
fighting in a phone booth. Boom, boom, boom.
These big bitches be fighting and shit.
They do.
All right, next we have a picture and a text exchange. I thought this was just pretty funny. A guy goes on a date with a girl and she doesn't have good table manners, and he immediately realizes it's not for him.
So she texts him and says, "Hey, are you okay? You've been gone from the table like 10 minutes. And he just goes, "I left." She says, "What you mean you left? You haven't even paid, and you said you were going to the bathroom." And he goes, "I paid for my food." And she goes, "Dude, what the fuck? I hope this is a joke." He says, "The joke is you, a woman that's almost 40, picking up a steak and biting it like you're an animal. You're embarrassing and classless, and I hate I ever hopped in your DM. You're nothing like you appear to be on the internet." And she says, "NGGA, I almost read it. I only allowed you to take me on this date so I can get a meal. Ain't no way you're playing in my face like this. A real man would have shown me how to properly eat the steak. If you're broke and can't afford me, you shouldn't have took me on this date. I don't have the money for this food. You need to cash at me." And then he says, "Shorty, you got your meal. You just got to pay for it. Be blessed, big rabbit teeth hoe."
How about she goes, "You can't afford it, just say so." And then in the very next line, I don't have the money for this meal.
Yeah. So it's not a problem with affording thing. It's just you need to be honest and forthright if you can't afford things.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the main dilemma.
And going
the
on the date for the free food.
Took a picture eating the steak, too.
Got her.
What is that?
That's pretty messy.
All right.
That's all.
That was kind of a lazy section from you. You just showed some big bitches fighting and shit.
Yeah, well, it happened. You got to show it. We don't have to talk about it so much.
Sometimes.
All right, next. The next couple stories are about standards in businesses. And the first one is a lazy river that gets kind of chaotic.
I'm definitely going on TikTok with this shit. That's OP.
One Asian guy in there. Literally a drowning risk.
And y'all still walk over here, right?
Drowning risk, fighting risk.
A lot of risks.
You knock into someone and they want to fight you. So situations like this, you take your family to the lazy river.
Yeah.
You get there. It looks like that. Time for a refund.
Yeah, I think there's a certain level of turnaround, get a refund. Hey, I didn't know it was going to be like this. This place is out of control. I'm going to take my kids somewhere else. I'd like to get a refund, please. There's no, people are kind of like, oh shit, this is what it is. I guess I got to stay in this bad situation where the lazy river is like a drowning risk. You just ask for a refund and leave. I feel like the American consumer, the appropriate American consumer, needs to be demanding refunds or like being disgusted and leaving too soon, because it kind of forces them to have standards, right?
Exactly.
If you have standards and you're a paying customer who's paying full ticket price for 4 things at what, Great Wolf Lodge or some sort of equivalent, then just say, hey, I'd really like to get my money back. It's too crowded to enjoy the facilities. Thank you. And tell it to the manager, right?
Mm-hmm. And then it gives the company a chance to maybe in the future correct some behavior and make it a more enjoyable experience for everybody. You kind of force them to uphold their standards. And this next clip is an example of that as well.
Some sort of brown man using soap to dig around in his ass around your kids. And so now you have soapy Indian ass water at the pool, and it's time for a refund.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. It's time for a refund. My kids aren't going in the soapy Indian worm ass water. So I'm going to go ask for a refund, and then I'll speak to a manager and tell him why I'm refunding. I'm asking for a refund because an Indian man washed his ass crack in the pool where my children were supposed to play. And then you hope that the establishment realizes they're losing money from this, and then they start enforcing the standards that you have, right? So I think it's something we're watching a lot. Standards go down everywhere, and then they'll continue to go down if nobody complains or nobody gets a refund, right?
Exactly. Refund maxing season. And that's like the change that needs to happen. Otherwise, they'll just keep doing what they're doing.
And it's annoying to do because especially like say you have 3 kids and they're 9, 10, and 12, right? Or close in age, whatever. You packed them up in the car. They all thought they were going to swim. It's kind of hard to turn around. You have to. You have to turn around. You can't reward negative business behavior, right?
Very true.
Have standards for yourself and maybe sometimes have a backup plan. And imagine taking your kids to that jump zone.
Yeah, the trampoline park.
Trampoline park where all the black kids are moving like, what did we call it? Fluid dynamics. And they're running through and they're going crazy and they're kicking your kid. Have a backup plan maybe.
Very true.
Have some standards, right?
All right, our next story is a very sad story. A man was beaten because he asked some people to not take pictures of him in the bathroom.
Here's the beating. They try to get the head hits on the ground. And it's 3-on-1 in the story. Someone commented, what instigated all that? And I think the wife or some relative said, Brian asked them to stop taking pictures in the bathroom and move from in front of the urinals so he could pee. He was actually on the phone with 911 when they jumped him because they were taking shit in the bathroom.
Talking shit in the bathroom.
Taking, maybe. I assume talking. But yeah, you can't enforce standards anywhere when these kids are looking to kick you in the head or hit you in the head with a shoe when you're down because there's 3 of them and there's only 1 of you. So it doesn't matter who's right. The only thing that matters is who has the might. And 3-on-1 always wins, right?
And this happened in Myrtle Beach. And I actually knew this a long time ago. Myrtle Beach banned casinos because they didn't want gambling and they wanted to keep it a wholesome, family-friendly place. Should have banned something else.
Yeah, I think the Civil Rights Act, you couldn't quite ban everything you wanted. And this guy was, I think, recovering from cancer.
Yeah, he's a cancer guy.
Yep. Survivor, maybe. Let's say that.
All right, next we have another stomp out. This was done by 4 people who stomped some guy out in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago police just released a video in the hunt for 4 people sought in fatal Avondale beating. And this guy was a young man. His name was Xander Kazanowski, typical Chicago Polish guy, 25 years old. And he had a young kid. And I think his wife may have been pregnant. And this is just, we'll play the video of these persons of interest walking into the bar so you could see. But there was some sort of altercation at the bar. And then this guy got totally stomped out and he was alive for a couple days while they tried to kind of find him. But it took a while to find him because he was left crumpled on the floor at 3:15 somewhere in the northwest side of Chicago. And it's just like, we show these like people stomping you or hitting you on the ground, and the line between you losing your life or permanently disabled or something is so small that this young, healthy 25-year-old just couldn't sustain the injuries. And, usual suspects, as they say.
Did he die or
Yeah, he's dead.
Wow, super sad.
Yeah. And he was a young dad, like I said, and you can tell, like, look at him. Looks like a nice guy. Wrong place, wrong time. Out a little too late where it's a little too dark in Chicago.
Got to avoid that.
Head on a swivel out there, guys.
And our last story is another stomp out. Toledo teen stomped out a homeless veteran guy.
I think what was on kids' minds that they would want to do that.
The surveillance shows a man cornered against a wall, outnumbered, stomped, kicked in his head, and tonight, no one is in custody.
We definitely want justice.
The homeless man swings a garbage can lid trying to defend himself. The attackers punched him while hurling insults.
You can see that one of them has on a monitor. I mean, so that tells you the path right there. But, I feel like, it's never too late for a person to make a turnaround. You never know where the kids would be later on in life. But right now, I think they need to be brought to justice.
Always hedging.
And anyone can recover. What are you talking about? You have an ankle monitor and you're stomping people out still. Like, that was your chance at recovery. All right, I have an ankle monitor. They're going to be watching everything I'm doing.
You could turn this around from right here.
Yeah, I'm going to improve my behavior. I'm going to have a good relationship with my PO officer, my parole officer, and I'm going to get back on track because now I'm being watched by the state.
Yeah.
And you're still doing crimes, and then the lady still talks about rehabilitation.
On camera, there's a filmer back there. This 4th guy is just the filmer, and he's filming the ankle monitor guy randomly, violently assault a homeless man. Lovely, lovely time.
Maybe these kids can turn it around.
Yeah, she had to hedge it. She had to hedge. For what? Like, you can just call a violent criminal, and he needs to go away forever probably, right?
And you're right.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to Uplifting Gold, and we do have uplifting stuff today. First is an encounter where this guy is asked how he would spend $1 billion.
If you had $1 billion, what would you do? All right, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some chicken wings. Then goddamn, the second thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get all my baby mamas. I'm gonna get all my baby mamas a goddamn $1 million. Saying, leave me the hell alone. I love y'all though. I'll give them $1 million, leave their ass alone, right? And then I'm gonna hit up Billie Eilish. I'm gonna get her 10 mil, just let me hit.
Billie Eilish?
Yes, and then after I hit, she gonna marry me. I just need to get in the door with her. Billie, I love you, Shawty. That's why I'm spending my money on. Billie, my baby mamas, some chicken wings, And everybody be telling me to get a car, but I can't get no license. I ain't gonna get no car yet. Ooh, I'll buy a driver. I'm gonna buy a car. Instant look.
There you go. That's a rare spec right there.
What?
The white guy who looks like a hipster doofus who should be in Brooklyn who owns a beeswax candle shop.
Yeah, but he went wigger instead.
He went wigger instead in like Houston, Texas, and now he talks in like Chopped and Screwed Houston rap voice. But that's a rare spec. That doesn't happen a lot.
And he likes Billie Eilish, I guess.
Really likes her. All right, next we have a funny cop interaction in New Orleans.
Ladies. Man, you gotta talk to him, man. Right here. Hey, I love your hair. What's your name? What? What? That's a ball. I don't fucking. You said talk to him. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. You gotta coach me. All right. First, you gotta make sure it's not a ball. Okay. All right? Yeah.
That's funny. You gotta talk to him. It's a boy.
Hey, that guy was legitimately helping.
Yeah, that was funny. That was a nice interaction with the police.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, next we have a drive-through prank that was pretty good.
That fuck you want.
Thank you, Carolina Fish Fry. May I help you?
I want a super duper duper platypus plate.
Super duper duper platypus plate.
No, super duper duper platypus plate.
A super duper duper platypus plate.
We don't have that.
They don't have that. You motherfucker, you keep on playing this damn games with me. These people better come in here and knock the hell out of me.
All right, I'm sorry. Let me get the 8-legged octopus plate.
8-legged octopus plate.
No, 8-legged octopus plate.
8-legged octopus plate.
No, 8-legged octopus, not
8-legged octopus. Man, fuck this shit. I'm tired of this shit now.
Are some people just in outer space? Like, what did you think? The super duper platypus plate? Like, I can't even imagine there would be anything close. I don't get it.
All right.
I guess some people are just really on autopilot, can't read the thing quickly.
Especially like, what are you going to have to order? It's like,
Yeah.
you turn and you just listen and you repeat and you get pranked.
It's also not that serious because your son or whoever is pranking you, and then you're just like wasting a little bit of time from the probably migrant delivery person.
So true.
Headset guy.
All right, next, this is a very interesting thing that takes place in Florida.
You know about 1527 Yale Boulevard?
No.
It's in the Broward County area of Florida, around Boynton Beach area.
There you go.
Anti-content, new fake podcast content that's like never solves anything or never gets anything done.
Yeah. All right, our last clip of the show, our Pure Americana clip of the week, is kind of a callback to last episode. Remember, we showed the video of the guy with the bubble in his tire, and he took it personally and wanted to fight everybody?
He was offended, yes.
So this is what it looks like when you get a note about a bubble on your tire and you're white.
And it's a high-trust society.
So I'm walking out of Walmart, and I'm walking toward my car, and I see this on my car, and it's a note. Your driver's side front tire has a bubble on the side. It could blow at any time. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can see that or not. Well, thank you, whoever left this note for me. I guess I'm going to have to get a new tire.
Simple. The world is so simple. Thank you, whoever left this note for me, and I'm going to act on the advice because I was unaware. Thank you, Good Samaritans.
Time for a new tire.
High trust society complete.
That's how it works.
It's really easy to live here, guys. If you're nice and accepting and, a little bit trusting. But
it could be such a nice place.
Yeah, it could be so beautiful to live here.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show, but we do have some shout-outs. First, we have a baby shout-out. This was sent to us a while ago.
Yes, this was sent a while ago. I just saw it in my DMs. I don't remember the name, but we had to include it. This guy set up the babies.
3 screens, 2 babies,
That's
some
how you
adults.
watch.
That's what I like to see.
Yep.
We have a happy birthday to Brianna Russell, who turns 37 on April 11th. She's been married for 10 years, so shout out to her and their 8-year-old daughter, Skylar, as well.
Happy birthday,
Great
Brianna.
family. They love the show and their bonus landers. That's the full 360 win right there. Happy birthday, Brianna.
Lovely.
We have a happy birthday to Jeremy on April 9th from your wife, Jel, and your son. Happy birthday, Jeremy.
Happy birthday, Jeremy. Wife, what?
Jel, I think it's short for Angelica.
Okay, cool. Jeremy spoken. Spoken.
Class today.
I was singing something, Jeremy, for your birthday. Jeremy Spoken. All right. Keep it going.
Finish
I'm not doing the whole thing.
And then we have a shout out to Adriana's husband, James. They love the show. They love watching together, and they watch every episode all the way through.
Happy birthday, James. I thought you were going to say Adriana's husband, Christopher Moltisanti, but not so much.
Adriana. All right, well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching all the way through. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. 30-minute bonus land drops tomorrow at 11 a.m. We have really good stuff on bonus land. Fleccastalks.com is the website. Thank you guys for watching all the way through, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
From Cringe of the Week and Urban Decay, there's Uplifting Gold and Fleccas pets getting trolled. Coming up to bite in your day. The only way the show can be defined. The best news podcast of all time. Best to keep the P.O. box full. We won't stop till the world is rid of all the pickles. If more Fleccas content is what you demand, then just make sure you're sub to bonus land. Fleccas Talks, give it up to the world's best host. Fleccas Talks, choose the encore and tickle the post. The only way the show can be defined. The best news podcast
MMIW G2SLGBTQQIA WG2SLGBTQQIA MMI2SLW G2SLGBTQQIA+.
They don't have that. You motherfucker, you keep on playing this damn game.